was doing a small analysis about this, and last week I had a very interesting story which I heard from one of my very close friend, and I thought through this video I will share that story with you. And somewhere I feel from my experience that if you want to be an entrepreneur, starting your career in a startup can be a great start, and probably one of the best moves that you can ever make to make your entrepreneurial journey successful and more brighter. And the story goes like this. This is a story of three engineering students who had actually been school friends, and one engineering student did his engineering from National University of Singapore. He did his computer science engineering, and two engineering students did their engineering in a typical tier 2 engineering college in a state of Tamil Nadu, in a city called Coimbatore. And they had actually met over a dinner. They met like after like 6-7 years, wherein the friend who had been to NUS asked them for a dinner meet, and they actually met. And when I was actually discussing with him over a coffee last week, he told me this story, and it was really amazing, and I think that would give a better insight to you of what I'm trying to say in this video. So this friend who was in Singapore asked to the two fellow school friends of his who completed their engineering and were working for more than 2.5-3 years, asking how was life and all that stuff. And he had a very interesting question which he had posted to both of them, asking, okay, so tell me, what have you actually learned in the last 2 to 2.5 years of your experience? This gives a very interesting question, because one student who had been an engineer and studied in a tier 2 college here in South went to a startup with around 65 employees, and another student went to an MNC, like most of the engineering students go to the big MNC who hire around 20,000 engineers every year. Both had a relevant same experience of around 2 to 2.5 years since they had passed out from college. And when the Singapore friend asked to the student who was working in the MNC, so the answer went like that. The student who actually completed his engineering had to wait for more than 8 months actually to get the call letter, and I believe now it is more than a year, or sometimes it's 1.5 to 2 years. So generally after completing your graduation, you have to wait for minimum of 8 months to a maximum of 1.5 years to just wait for the call. And after that you get into training, and training is more or less like the classroom environment where they teach you for minimum of 3 months to a maximum of 6 months. This guy did training for somewhere around 4 months, then they send you back to home and ask you to wait for another call to join the company back after the training. And after that, if you are lucky, you get a project, and if you are not, you are asked to sit on a bench. At the time actually when you get a project and start working on a project, I think probably your 1 year 5 months or 1 year 6 months on an average is over. Which means if you would have started this 1 year 5 months earlier, you would have learned a lot of things. So when my Singapore friend asked to my friend, so what have you learned in the last 2.5 years? He said, it took 8 months for me to join, then training happened. So if I look back, what have I ever learned in last 2.5 years? He said, maybe I have learned to send an email. I was completely shocked when I heard this, because learn an email at a cost of 2.5 years was something very surprising for me. And if you see most of the instances, maybe in a small cubicle with a small team of 10 people, not knowing more about business but just knowing a segment of the project, you really don't get that exposure. Yes, the infrastructure is great, it is AC, you have a great cafeteria, but we need to also remember that that is not ours, that is theirs, the company that owns it, like Narayana Murthy or Azim Premji. So this really surprised me, because someone who is working in an MNC for a longer period of time, when somebody asked him, what have you learned in 2.5 years? He replied stating, I've learned how to send an email, and that was a costly answer. On the other side, when this Singapore friend asked to the other friend of his, what have you learned in 2.5 years? I was completely surprised because that guy had worked in a startup in Bangalore, and he said that he got an opportunity to be a part of the sales team, and he said he has traveled more than 11 new cities, spoke to more than 200 new people, and the company was about to raise funds, so he was a part of the fundraising core committee team, and also the company was applying for an ISO, so he was even part in the ISO process on how an ISO is done. And moreover, this was a very small company with around 60 odd employees, so he had got some idea about what is operations all about, what is HR all about, what is sales all about, and he got an opportunity to closely work with the CEO, the Vice President Operations, Vice President Marketing, and had a bigger picture about what actually a company is all about. So the message that I wanted to convey to you in this video, I am not trying to say that working in a startup is right or working in an MNC is wrong. But somewhere I feel that if you are looking forward to become an entrepreneur in some time of your career, it is really a great way to start your career joining a startup of your choice. The startup can be as small as 2 employees to as big as 60 or 80 employees, than joining an MNC and being just a drop in an ocean. So this is what I feel. I hope I had shared some valuable information with you. Thanks for watching me. Do log in and subscribe to our Guruji channel, and I'm sure you will have some interesting information regarding education and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. Have a great day.